I know here in the UK we have our own fair share of smarmy, detached, liberal elites, but I don't think anybody's got it as bad in the Western world as our friends over in Canada with their Premier Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau is what you get when you cross a corny 1990s rom-com and the Guardian newspaper, and here's Mr. Himbo himself struggling to see why countries around the world are voting for populist parties, not his beloved leftist liberal parties.
We have seen around the world a rise of populist right-wing forces in just about every democracy that we've seen. And it is of concern to see political parties choosing to instrumentalize anger, fear, division, anxiety.
I swear at this point I'm starting to believe that the world's liberal elite are given a hymn sheet that they have to follow word for word or else be Epsteined by someone. I mean, here he goes again with that same progressive liberal rhetoric that if you don't agree with our globalist agenda of enforced mass migration that erodes your host country's culture, the increasingly weird LGBTQ agenda, as well as having this weird white guilt that we're supposed to have shame over our own countries, you're supposedly full of hate and anger and want to cause division.
My approach has always been to respond to it, to understand it and to look to solve it, to roll up our sleeves, work hard and with ambition for this country and for our future. And I continue to be convinced that Canadians are thoughtful about the challenges we're facing and ready to see them solved, rather than just allow themselves to be have their anger amplified without any solutions offered.
It's ironic, isn't it, that a world leader will get on a stage and virtue signal about how it's always been his policy to try and understand the way people feel, and then show that he absolutely has no idea of how the people across the Western world feel at all. Yet personally, I'm sick of the attitude of the liberal elite. Trudeau, in this clip, like all of them, implies that we just have a problem with anger and hating other people simply for the colour of their skin, while he's going to teach us how to be better human beings with his liberal policies. Just spare us the lectures on blacking up, eh, Justin? Yet of course it is people like Justin Trudeau that's leading to this wave of populism in the modern world. People are sick to the back teeth of being lectured by out-of-touch, detached elites who don't live with the consequences of their own policies. These people sneer down at us from their ivory towers, their cocoons of wealth and privilege, where they dream of a liberal utopia where Muslim and gay lay down together. But down here in the real world, we know that's all a fantasy. This is why I don't blame people at all for reawakening their traditions and pursuing their own national interest in the face of this globalist degeneracy. I actually think this is the most ethical response to the present globalist onslaught of enforced mass immigration, the destruction of traditional values, and the forced toleration of every weird sexual proclivity amongst the alphabet people. To do all of that and then call the average person in the Western world divisive because they don't accept it being forced upon them is just a step too far. But what really rubs it in is why they try and make out that just by being irked by this, you've got some sort of pathology. Yet we can be buoyed by the fact that many people are waking up to this, and it's time to change the narrative in our contemporary culture. We've got nothing to be ashamed of at all. These are just my thoughts, however. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel.